Here's what nobody tells you about getting laid off in mid-career. It might be the best thing that happens to you. I know that sounds wild when you're panicking about bills and wondering if you're too expensive to hire. But when I got laid off after 15 years in my field, I realized something. I wasn't starting over. I had leverage that I didn't even know I had. Today, I'm showing you the real advantages that we have as mid-career professionals. When you're mid-career, you don't sell potential, right? You sell outcomes. You've actually solved real business problems. You've navigated trade-offs. You've delivered results under pressure. That translates directly into stronger interview stories. You have lived experience, not hypotheticals. You have cleaner metrics, right? You can back everything up that you've ever done with data, and you build trust faster. Hiring teams don't have to guess if you can actually do the work. Early career candidates promise growth, yeah, but as mid-career professionals, we clearly demonstrate impact. In cautious markets like this one, proof beats promise every single time. When I was laid off, finding metrics for my resume wasn't really that hard. I had 15 years worth of metrics to parse through. And that's when I realized that this is actually an advantage. All right, so most job seekers miss this next advantage, and it might be why nothing's changing. You, my friend, have true ownership and leadership signals. You've been in the game for 10 plus years at this point, so you've probably led projects and built strategies to actually execute on those projects. You've also influenced not only team decisions, but executive level decisions. And you've also impacted product roadmaps that have made companies a lot of money. And you've also mentored team members, be them junior or peers. And you did all of this without a manager or director title. And that's where your advantage kicks in, because hiring teams are looking for people who can recognize problems early and provide guidance to rectify those problems as quickly as possible. They're also looking for people who can take responsibility and own a project from beginning to end without being micromanaged. And they're looking for people who can organize chaos and stabilize all the moving parts that come along with projects. That's ownership, that's leadership, and that's employability. I struggled with seeing the forest for the trees in this area because I was so down and out about the fact that I got laid off, and I was just blaming myself. But then I had to realize that layoffs don't erase your experience in leadership, right? The third advantage that mid-career professionals have is that we've built our network brick by brick. We have former managers that can vouch for us and our work and all the outcomes that we've driven from our work. We have cross-functional peers that we partnered on projects with. And if you are in sales or any other client-facing type of role, you have past clients and vendors that have worked with you that can vouch for how you are as a partner. And that's a huge advantage when it comes down to job searching in this job market, okay? Because that network that you've built over all these years that you've been out here in these streets does three things for you. It creates referrals. If you were a joy to work with, of course, those people that you've worked with in the past want to refer you to other jobs. It also opens side doors and reveals roles to you before they're even posted. You may not even have to apply for a job because you know someone that works at the place you're applying to that knows your work. And I can almost guarantee that us mid-career people don't want to waste our time in uploading our job application and going through this extensive job hiring process. No, thank you. Here's the truth. I didn't realize how much power I had in my network. The saying that your network is your net worth is so real, because I don't think I would have gotten hired as quickly as I did if it wasn't for my network. Tapping into your network as a mid-career professional helps to accelerate your job search. Unlike early career folks who are starting from zero and just now dipping their toe into the pond, you're actually reactivating the assets that you've built over time. All right, so the fourth advantage that you have as a mid-career job seeker is that you don't have to guess anymore. All of the job searching that you're doing right now involves data because you know a few things already. You know your strengths, right? You're not spinning your wheels trying to figure out what your strengths are. This isn't year 1 or 2 for you. You've been in the game for a while now. You also know your red flags. You know you better than anybody else, so you know where your imperfections lie. You can also speak to those imperfections in a way that shows that you're willing to learn and willing to improve upon those things. That also shows that you're adaptable no matter the environment. Speaking of environments, you also know what type of work environment you work best in. If you know you work better in structured organizations, you can skip applying to startups entirely. The takeaway here is that even though a layoff is a pause that you did not have on your docket, it forces you to be more precise and more clear about what you want, which then leads to better role targeting, cleaner narratives for your professional story, and of course, stronger role alignment. Here's what this looked like for me. In the beginning of my job search after I got laid off, I applied to any and everything that had marketing in the title. I wasted weeks, months of my time. But once I got clear that I wanted a product marketing manager role at a startup or a growth stage company, my response rate went from 0 to 100 like super fast. And that's the power of clarity. So when you're out here applying to jobs, hiring managers and recruiters can feel that you have that focus right off the bat. And the last advantage that I want to talk with you about today is that you're adaptable under pressure. This isn't your first rodeo, friend. And if you take anything from this video, make it this. You've lived through reorgs, strategy pivots, tool changes, and system overhauls, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You've seen .com bubbles burst, and now we're watching these AI hype cycles. That builds professional resilience. And when you're out here job searching, you'll start to see that companies really value people who can learn quickly. You don't have to be handheld after onboarding. You can kind of just hit the ground running. Companies also want to hire people where change doesn't freak them out. Mid-career folks have been through so much change. It's astounding. You have the power in that ability to be flexible and change to show that you're really resilient. And you can show that you can stay steadfast in those adjustments, which companies love. And given that you have a calm and cool demeanor, you can help others on your teams adjust to change as well. And you can also help them adapt to new tools that come down the pipe. I can say that in my own job search and in interviews with companies, adaptability was one of the most talked about topics during my interview. And I can also say that being adaptable was one of my biggest flexes. I've worked for startups, I've worked for Series B corporations, and they all have their own nuances that I had to adapt to. As a mid-career professional, you bring calm to the chaos. And that, my friend, is a huge competitive advantage in this market. So if you're feeling down and out about the fact that you got laid off and the fact that you got laid off in your mid-career, just remember that this layoff that you're going through doesn't reset you to zero. What it does do is provide you with a little bit of a reality check, and it strips away fancy titles and this false sense of security that we all had. And it takes away this outdated narrative that we got to be loyal to these companies, because truth be told, these companies aren't going to be loyal to you at the end of the day. But on the other side of that, you take away portable value. So now your job as a job seeker in this market is to lead with the skills that you've acquired over the years. You have tangible proof that you're able to actually do the work. And then you want to translate that experience that you have, all those skills that you've gained, into their language and do it pretty clearly so they understand it. The reality here is that we are in a job market that rewards skills and proof. And as a mid-career professional, friend, you have both of those things in spades. You just got to position them the right way. All right, friend, that's all I have for you today. If you made it to the end of this video, that means you're serious about this. Comment your current role and the direction that you're thinking about pivoting into. Maybe I can help you point out the advantage that you might be overlooking. I pivoted after my layoff using these exact strategies. So hopefully I can help you do the same. Also, if this video helped, please don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. I'm here every week. And as always, thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!